What is a brand? Many people will tell you it is a logo, a name, a specific color palette. They will point to the swoosh on a shoe or the apple on a laptop. But these are just symbols. They are identifiers. They are not the brand itself. A brand is something much deeper. It is a feeling. It is a connection. It is the story that people tell themselves about you when you are not in the room. This is where the real power lies, not in the design but in the narrative. Think about the brands you love, the ones you trust, the ones you return to again and again. Is it because their logo is perfectly designed? Or is it because they stand for something you believe in? They have a story that resonates with you. They have a purpose that goes beyond just selling a product or a service. They are on a mission, and by supporting them, you feel like you are part of that mission too. This is the fundamental shift in modern marketing. We have moved from selling what we do to sharing why we do it. The marketplace today is crowded. It is noisy. Everyone is shouting to be heard, listing features, benefits, and competitive prices. But this kind of communication rarely builds loyalty. Facts and figures speak to our rational minds, but they do not capture our hearts. Stories, on the other hand, do. Stories are how we have made sense of the world for millennia. They are wired into our DNA. When you tell a story, you are not just talking at your audience. You are inviting them into a world you have created, a world where they can see themselves. So we must start by asking a different question. Instead of asking, what do we sell? We must ask, what is our story? What do we believe? Why does our organization exist? When you can answer these questions with clarity, you move beyond being a simple commodity. You stop being a company that just sells things and become a brand that people follow, a symbol that means something. Your logo is not your brand, it is the flag that represents the story your brand tells. It is a reminder of the why behind the what. Storytelling is not a new marketing tactic. It is not a trend that will fade away next year. It is the oldest form of communication we have. It is the very foundation of how we connect as human beings. What has changed is the context. In our digital age, where consumers have more choice and more power than ever before, the importance of storytelling has been amplified. It has become the essential skill for any leader, entrepreneur, or creator who wants to build something that lasts. It is the heartbeat of modern branding. Why is this so critical now? Because trust is the new currency. People are tired of being sold to. They are skeptical of corporate messages and polished advertisements. They crave authenticity. They want to connect with the people behind the brand. A well-told story breaks down these walls. It bypasses the cynical brain and speaks directly to the heart. It shows vulnerability, reveals purpose, and demonstrates shared value. It does not just tell people what you do, it shows them who you are. This is how you build genuine, lasting trust. The most powerful brands in the world understand this principle intuitively. They do not lead with product specifications, they lead with a story. A story of rebellion against the status quo, a story of empowering athletes to find their greatness, a story of connecting the world. Their marketing does not feel like marketing. It feels like an invitation to be part of something bigger than yourself. They create a narrative that the audience can step into, a story where the customer becomes the hero. This is the secret power behind their incredible influence. This journey is for every entrepreneur who feels their message is getting lost in the noise. It is for anyone who has a powerful idea but struggles to make people listen. The solution is not to shout louder. The solution is to tell a better story. A story that is clear, compelling, and uniquely yours. In the chapters that follow, we will explore why stories work, how to build your own, and how to weave it into everything you do. Because when you learn how to tell your story, you do not just build a brand, you start a movement. Our brains are built for narrative, not spread speeds. For thousands of years, stories were our primary tool for survival. When we hear facts, only language centers light up. But when we hear a story, our entire brain comes alive. A story creates an experience. This is why stories are more memorable than facts. A story is a lived experience, stored as if it happened to us. Can you recall the story of the tortoise and the hare? We are inviting them into an experience that will become a part of their own memory. We are speaking the native language of the brain. Story. Why do stories make us feel so connected? The answer is chemical. When we are engaged in a compelling narrative, our brains release oxytocin. Often called the love hormone, oxytocin is the chemical foundation of empathy and social bonding. This release of oxytocin is a game changer for anyone trying to build a brand. It transforms a passive audience into an engaged community. It literally makes people more trusting, more generous, and more bonded to the source of the story. Instead, they begin to see you as a fellow human sharing a journey. They tell you the story of one person. It makes us feel what they feel. We empathize, and that empathy is what compels us to act. As entrepreneurs and leaders, our goal is to build that same level of connection. By telling authentic, emotionally resonant stories, we can consciously create the conditions for this chemical bond to form. There is another fascinating phenomenon that happens when we listen to a story. It's a process neuroscientists call neural coupling or mirroring. As the storyteller shares their experience, the listener's brain activity begins to mirror the speaker's brain activity. The same areas of the brain light up in both the speaker and the listener at the same time. The two brains, they essentially become synchronized. It's as if the ideas, emotions, and experiences are being directly transmitted from one mind to another without the need for complex interpretation. The story literally aligns your brains. This synchronization is the ultimate goal of communication. It means your message is not just being heard, it is being felt and experienced. The barrier between me and you dissolves. Through the story, your thoughts become their thoughts. Your feelings become their feelings. The narrative you have crafted becomes an experience they now own. This is why a good story can change someone's mind, shift their perspective, and inspire them to see the world in a new way. It is not just persuasion, it is a shared consciousness, a moment of profound alignment. This concept has incredible implications for branding. When you tell the story of your brand's origin, its struggles, its breakthroughs, and its purpose, you're not just listing historical facts. If the story is told well, your audience's brains will couple with yours. They will feel the late-night anxiety of starting a new venture. They will feel the excitement of the first success. They will feel the unwavering belief in the mission that kept you going. Your brand's journey is no longer just your journey, it becomes their journey too. They become emotionally invested in your success because they have experienced it with you. This is how you build true brand advocates. Not just customers who buy, but fans who believe. When someone has experienced your story through neural coupling, they feel a sense of ownership. They are more likely to defend your brand, to share your story with others, and to stay loyal through challenges. They are not just connected to what you sell, they are connected to who you are and why you exist. They have internalized your narrative and it has become part of their own identity. This is the deepest, most powerful connection a brand can make. It is when your story truly becomes their story. In a world saturated with advertising, people have built up powerful filters. The only stories that break through are the ones that feel real. The foundation of a brand identity is authenticity. Your story must be true, not just factually, but emotionally. It must reflect the genuine values that drive your organization. Authenticity is the bedrock upon which all trust is built. People connect with humanity, not perfection. Share your triumphs, struggles, and doubts. This vulnerability creates empathy with your audience. Be real. Know who you are, what you believe in, and communicate it with clarity. Your authentic story is a beacon that calls your tribe home. Look inward. Find the true story that is already there and have the courage to tell it with honesty and heart. Every great brand has an origin story. It's the narrative that explains your existence, answering the question, why did you start this journey? This origin story is the soul of your brand. transforming products into pieces of a larger mission. A powerful origin story gives your audience a reason to care, anchoring your brand in a purpose beyond profit. Your origin story is your unique fingerprint. It is your most valuable, inevitable asset. It's the story that will connect with your audience on a human level and give them a powerful reason to choose you. A brand story isn't a one-time campaign. It must be lived and woven into your organization. From your website to customer service, every interaction reinforces your narrative. Consistency makes your story believable and creates an immersive brand world. Inconsistency shatters the illusion and erodes trust. Commitment from the entire organization is key. Everyone must understand the brand's core narrative. This builds a clear, memorable, and trustworthy brand identity. Your brand becomes a single, powerful, and coherent story. Every great story, from ancient myths to modern blockbusters, is built upon the same fundamental structure. To craft your brand narrative, you need three essential ingredients: a character, a conflict, and a resolution. The character is the heart of the story. The conflict creates tension. The resolution provides closure. Who is the central character in your brand's world? What conflict are they facing? How does your brand help them reach a satisfying resolution? This framework is your creative compass. When crafting your brand narrative, remember, your customer is the hero, not your brand. They're on a journey and your brand plays a crucial supporting role. Make the customer the hero and your marketing shifts to focus on their potential, not your features. Focus on their world, aspirations, and struggles. Like Luke Skywalker with his lightsaber, your brand empowers the hero, your customer, to succeed. Define your hero. What do they want? Understand their motivations, fears, and dreams to create a resonant story. When customers see themselves as the hero, they'll be drawn to join you. Once you've identified your customer, define their conflict. The conflict creates tension and makes us care. For your brand, it's the problem your customer faces that you solve. It's the obstacle to their desired future. The conflict can be external, internal, or even philosophical. Articulate the conflict in a way your customer immediately recognizes. Talk about the struggle more than the solution. Describe the conflict better than they can, and they'll assume you have the solution, building instant credibility. What happens if they fail? What's the cost of inaction? By outlining the stakes, you create urgency. The hero and their conflict defined, the final piece is the resolution. Your brand steps into the story, but remember, you are not the hero, you are the guide, providing a plan and tools. Show the hero how to win with a clear path out of their conflict. The resolution is the vision of success your brand helps them achieve. Your marketing should clearly articulate this simple plan. You're selling a clear path to victory, empowering the customer to take the first step confidently. Use testimonials and imagery to depict customers who've succeeded with your help. Finally, call the hero to action. Buy now. Schedule a demo. Download the guide. It's the call to adventure, transforming a transaction into a pivotal moment. Let's see how a powerful narrative transforms a brand. Take Airbnb. Instead of just being a site for renting rooms, Airbnb built its brand around one idea: belonging. Their story wasn't about cheap stays, it was about connecting people and creating a world where anyone could belong anywhere. This narrative shifted focus from properties to people. Hosts became ambassadors. Guests became part of a community. Marketing showcased real stories and moments of connection, not just empty apartments. The real conflict wasn't hotel prices, but the loneliness of travel. Airbnb's resolution: stay with locals, feel at home, and truly belong. This story built trust, convincing millions to open their homes to strangers. Facts and features didn't do that. A story did. It made users feel part of a global, welcoming community. That's the power of a human-centered narrative. Airbnb didn't just change travel, they changed how we see each other. Belonging became their brand. Some brands are built entirely on a story, like Tom's Shoes. Founder Blake Mykowski didn't just sell shoes, he sold a mission: for every pair you buy, Tom's gives a pair to a child in need. One for one wasn't a tagline, it was the business. The conflict: millions of children without shoes. The customer became the hero, solving a real problem with a simple purchase. Tom's Shoes became a symbol of caring and action. The story was so compelling, customers spread it themselves. The product was the marketing, the story was in every pair. The resolution: you get shoes and you help someone else. It was authentic, easy to share, and gave customers a reason to care. Tom's didn't just sell shoes, they sold the chance to do good. Everyone wins, and that's a story people want to join. That's the power of a purpose-driven narrative. For years, beauty brands sold perfection. Dove told a different story. Instead of flawless models, Dove's campaign for real beauty featured real women, challenging narrow beauty standards. The conflict wasn't flaws, but the anxiety caused by unrealistic ideals. Dove's story empowered women to see their own beauty. Viral campaigns like Real Beauty Sketches showed women were more beautiful than they believed. Dove became a champion for self-worth, not just a soap company. The resolution: beauty is diverse, authentic, and inclusive. Buying Dove meant supporting a healthier vision for everyone. The brand became a movement, not just a product. Loyalty grew from empathy, not insecurity. Dove-proof brands can build trust by celebrating real people. That's the impact of a story that uplifts. The eyewear industry was once exclusive and overpriced, until Warby Parker rewrote the story. Their founders experienced the problem firsthand: expensive, hard-to-replace glasses. Warby Parker's narrative was rebellion. Designer eyewear at fair prices, with a fun, easy buying experience. The customer became the hero, fighting back against the old system. Warby Parker guided them with innovations like Home Try-On. Their social mission, buy a pair, give a pair, added purpose. Customers got value and helped others see. The story made switching brands feel smart and good. Warby Parker didn't just disrupt with business, they did it with story. The resolution: look good, save money, do good. The brand became a movement, not just a store. That's the power of a story-driven revolution. Your brand story isn't just for marketing, it's your operating system. It should guide every decision from product design to customer service. When your story shapes your culture, every team member becomes a storyteller. Alignment between actions and narrative builds deep trust. Hire for belief in your story, not just skills. The story must be lived, not just told. Use your narrative as a filter for every choice. Does this serve our hero's journey? When story drives strategy, your company becomes a unified movement. The narrative gives clarity and purpose, even in uncertainty. It transforms a business into a mission. Don't treat your story as an asset. Make it your core. That's how brands build lasting loyalty. Once your story is your core, think of marketing as tending a story garden. Your narrative is the soil. Every piece of content is a new plant. Blog posts, videos, testimonials all grow from the same story. This keeps your message consistent but always fresh. Tell your story from many angles: case studies, conflict, behind the scenes. You never run out of ideas. Just return to your garden. Each story deepens your brand's world. Impact comes from daily, consistent storytelling, not one big campaign. Over time, your narrative becomes inseparable from your brand. You give customers a world to join and a mission to believe in. That's how you move from a brand they buy to a brand they believe in. We have journeyed through the science of connection and the architecture of narrative. Storytelling is the fundamental operating system for building a brand that lasts. Your story is not just a part of your brand, it is the very heart of it. It builds trust and inspires loyalty. Ask, who is your hero? What conflict do they face? Your story is your unique superpower. It is the one thing your competitors can never copy. It is your truth, your journey, your purpose. Start now. Find your narrative, craft it with heart, share it consistently and courageously. Make yours unforgettable.